Good day. In this video presentation, we're going to discuss about the life stages in human development. The periods of lifespan development is divided into several parts, including prenatal stage. This is the first one. So it starts from the conception to birth. When we say conception, this is the union of the sperm cell and the egg cell. Prenatal stage is divided into three substages. The first one is the germinal stage. In the germinal stage, what is important here is the term zygote and embryo. A zygote is a single-celled organism resulting from a fertilized egg. So when the sperm and the female ovum or the egg cell unite, you call that the zygote. While the embryo, it is the early stage of the human development in which organs or critical body structures are formed. So we have there the inner part that will become the fetus or the baby, and the outer part of that is the umbilical cord in the placenta. We all know that that serves as the growing embryo's food and supply from the mother. It allows food to get through and waste to get out. Kailan natin tatawagin ang embryo bilang isang fetus? Kapag ito ay nasa kanya ng 11th week of pregnancy or pang-11. That is the 9th week of development after the fertilization of the egg. Why? Because pregnancy doesn't start the day that you have sex. It can take up to 6 days after sex for the sperm and egg to join and form a fertilized egg. Then, it can take 3 to 4 days for the fertilized egg to completely implant itself in the lining of the uterus. So, more commonly, after you have sex, it can take up to 1 to 2 weeks for the fertilization, for the completion of the fertilization process. Next substage is the embryonic stage. This is until the 8th week of conception or the 8th week after the completion of the fertilization process. This is one of the most critical periods. This involves first trimester of pregnancy. Almost all birth defects occur, and if they form abnormally, the defect will be permanent. The last substage is the fetal stage. It begins after the 8 weeks of conception. So embryo, now called a fetus. A nervous and respiratory system are developed in 28 weeks. Next stage after the prenatal stage is the newborn and infancy. So a newborn or the infant, for the first few days, we call that as the neonate. This one, neonate. Infancy extends from birth to 18 to 24 months or 2 years. This is often referred to as the babyhood. So babies have a number of built-in reflexes which will be discussed separately. So they can see, touch, smell, taste, and even have rudimentary conversations with the adults who tend them. The following slides will show you the development of an infant classified in three different aspects such as motor, cognitive, and emotional development. So here from 0 to 2 months old, an infant will do head turning to the direction of touch. For example, an infant feel the touch near their lips. They will find that thing and try to follow that direction. We call that as a rooting reflex. So lifts chin when lying on stomach. So these are some of the motor development that is visible to a 0 to 2 months old infant. So what about their cognitive ability? So infants prefer looking at faces, like familiar sounds, and are interested in novelty that they track everywhere or where the things are. So parang sinusundan. Okay? So next is emotional development. Infant can imitate adult facial expressions and cries when distressed. As you notice, yung mga ganitong edad ng bata, yung iba kaya ng tumawa kapag yung nag-aalaga sa kanila ay tumatawa or pinapatawa sila. And then they can show crying kapag they need to communicate, like they are hungry or they yung kanilang diaper ay puno na. In the other slides, we have 3 to 4 months old, 5 to 6 months old, 7 to 8 months old, 9 to 10, and 11 to 12 months old. So those 3 slides, I just want you to read them, familiarize yourselves with the development of the infants in 3 different aspects of development. Alright. The next stage, we have the early childhood. This extends from the end of infancy or the babyhood to about 5 to 6 years. We have discussed this before in our first lesson, the early childhood, so I will just skip on that. But I want you to read on the slide so you will be familiarized with the development of this early childhood. Okay. So we also have here late childhood. So 6 to 12 years of age. So they have physical, motor, social, emotional, moral, and intellectual changes that are sources of anxiety for the growing child. So critical period for the development of his achievement, motivation, or the need to achieve. Puberty, marked by 2 significant changes in the physical development. So pubertal growth spurt and the puberty. The growth spurt refers to the rapid acceleration in height and weight and signals the beginning of adolescence. So in girls, rapid growth starts at age 10, reaches its peak at age 12, return to a slower rate of growth spurt by age 13 to 15. In males, rapid growth spurt starts at age 13, reaches its peak at age 14, and return to a more gradual rate at age 15 or 16. Aside from getting taller and heavier, the body assumes an adult-like appearance. Puberty is the period in the development of man and women at which the individual is physically capable of sexual reproduction. So sexual maturation follows a predictable sequence for both members of both sexes. The next stage is adolescence. Adolescence can be subdivided in early and late adolescence. So in early adolescence covers 13 to 16 or 17 years old depending on the gender or the sex. Whether it's either male or female, whereas late adolescence covers 16 to 18 to 21 years old. So in physical aspect, there is more marked internal than external development during later adolescence. The developmental tasks of adolescents are focused on developing independence in preparation for adulthood and in establishing a sense of identity. So college year, it is unusual for adolescents, for boys and girls not to be concerned about their physical attractiveness. In adulthood, they move from a period of exploration to one of stabilization. So acceptance and accommodation to social norms. We have 2 basic psychological needs such as affiliation and achievement that are very visible in this adulthood period. In early adulthood, 19 to 35 years of age is covered, the peak of physical performance and health of a human. Period for developing commitment, specialization, and channeling swan energy towards finding one's niche in the complex social system. Explore career path. So they are looking for their reason, bakit sila nabuhay, their purpose in life. The middle adulthood from approximately 35 to 65 years old. This is characterized by physical changes as people move through middle adulthood. Their height decreases gradually, especially in females. There is decline in physical and biological changes. Menopause for women and climacteric period for men progresses, though it is at a slower rate than women. So goodness of health ratings are related to emotional stability and controlled response to stress. So the last stage, we have 65 to 80 years of age until death. So this is the late adulthood or the senescence. Stage of adjustment to decreasing strength and health and to retirement and reduced income. So these are the characteristics of this last stage. So establishes affiliations with members of one's group and they too adapt to social roles. So this is the end of this video presentation regarding the life stages in human development. So to recall, the first life stage is the prenatal. Second is, okay, that's correct, infancy. The third one is, okay, that's correct. We have early childhood. Next is late childhood. Next is puberty. Next is adolescence. Next is, okay, we have early and the late adulthood. Okay. So do not be confused if some references will tell you that we have early childhood, we have middle childhood, we have late childhood. That is also the same with the adulthood part. It's just that they are divided into 3 or 2 divisions. It does not matter, but what really matter is you know the differences between each life stages, the major life stages. Okay.